Dig VR is a light simulation game with a casual arcade twist, similar to games like PowerWash Simulator. You use your digger skills to help out the residents of Diglington with their problems, which are mostly wacky and fun. There's a lot to like about this game, and it makes good use of VR, offering a plethora of controls and visual options to help everyone from the most hardcore digger to motion-sick casuals enjoy their time with the game. So join me as we dive deep into Dig VR to see if it's worth your time and hard-earned money right now, or whether you should wait for a sale or skip it entirely. Dig VR is marketed as a light simulation game with a casual arcade twist. You run a construction company specialising in diggers in the charming town of Diglington. From here you embark on missions in different regions of Diglington, each of which requires your digger driving skills. These range from helping dig out a pond for an elderly couple to helping dig up and construct new sewerage pipes for an outside toilet because a woman just can't deal with her husband taking up their house's toilet all the time. Oh, and the smell. The game's general loop is that you have a base of operations in a warehouse where all of your equipment is stored, and this acts as a kind of hub. You can select main missions from the map in the office, and completing these gives you currency which you can spend on all kinds of decorative decals, paint jobs, and more upgrades for your digger. Money will be deducted from these missions for destroying people's property, however, and you can be certain that it will happen. I ran over a table and knocked the head off a statue within minutes because the levels are purposefully littered with obstacles for you to skillfully avoid. You won't just be digging dirt either, because you can change the bucket on your digger. You'll also be doing other tasks like cutting down trees and moving them to a specified location, and many more. Aside from main missions that tend to have a light-hearted and charming twist, there are also mini-games and lost treasure modes. Mini-games are fun little distractions that ask you to do things like swing a bowling ball from your digger and knock over bowling pins. Meanwhile, Lost Treasure asks you to scour the landscape for lost treasures that give you new items. There's also a sandbox mode for chilled out sessions where you kind of just want to zone out and dig after a hard day at work. Now, I've got to be honest here. I expected more from Dig VR's graphics. The game goes for a kind of stylized, non-realistic graphical style similar to PowerWash Simulator, but there's still a lot of aliasing and jagged edges visible and present, which is not something I was expecting, especially considering I reviewed this on a PS5 Pro. That's not to say the graphics are bad overall. It's a very clean VR presentation with not a lot of blur or other problems that tend to plague VR, and in general it has a bright colour palette. Overall, Dig VR's graphics are good and they do the job, but I was expecting to get a smoother presentation on PS5 Pro. Dig VR has simple controls when you're in the digger. There's a safety lever you drop to power on the machine, a radio, 2 levers and 2 joysticks. The levers control your vehicle movement tank style, where each lever controls a separate track. The left joystick controls the rotation of the digger's cab and arm extension, while the right joystick controls the claw and the actual digging. Now, for the most part, the controls are problem-free and responsive, except for the right joystick that controls the actual digging. And because you have to move it forward and back as well as left and right, I find it can be a little buggy and over-responsive, leading to me opening the claw and dropping dirt or performing other random movements when I thought my hand was almost still. The good thing about Dig VR is that if you're having trouble with this, with the click of a button you can swap the controls to the thumbsticks for ultra precision. There are also a plethora of control options from arcade to simulation, so you can tailor the experience to you. And a massive benefit here is that the game offers all kinds of movement options to help with VR motion sickness. So you can choose from full controls to teleportation and click turning. Aside from the small niggle with the right joystick in game, I really can't fault the game in this department, and it's great to see a VR game that gives you full options for choosing how you want to play. The audio in Dig VR is good. The digger noises aren't overpowering, and there's a general ambience of relaxed sounds as you play the game. There's also a radio in your digger to help alleviate boredom if you're looking to listen to some tunes. There are a handful of different radio stations, and you can move the volume up and down as well, so there's really nothing to complain about in the audio department. Throughout my time playing Dig VR, I just couldn't shake the feeling that the game's overall vibes and atmosphere is eerily similar to PowerWash Simulator. From its fun and stylish graphics to the funny messages you get from clients and the silly jobs they give you. This isn't a bad thing, of course, and this light-hearted tone really enhances the game, because rather than being a serious simulator, it gives you quirky and fun reasons for doing increasingly random jobs in the goofy world of Diglington. But what are the negatives? There really aren't a lot of downsides to Dig VR on the surface. The sometimes over-responsive control issues do rear their head and can cause you to dig places you don't want to, but you can adjust sensitivities in the options to help alleviate this. Rather than any particular glaring negatives, however, perhaps the biggest downside to Dig VR is that it's quite repetitive in the same ways that, say, PowerWash Simulator is repetitive. Yes, you can perform different missions in different levels and get new diggers and perform new tasks, but at the end of the day, you're still sat in a digger the whole time with a basic set of controls. How much of a big deal this is to you will be up to what you want from a game and what kind of gamer you are. If you're in it for short bursts, or you genuinely find repetitive simulator tasks soothing and want a game where you can zone out and relax, then you'll find the game is right up your alley. If you're the kind of person to really tear through games in long sessions, however, you might find that things start to get monotonous. Dig VR is a great game that manages to blend simulator gameplay with a light-hearted story in a quirky and fun world, in the same way that a game like PowerWash Simulator does. If you like to power through games, then you might find its quite straightforward gameplay gets monotonous after a while. But I suspect that most people will use this as a game to take their time with and relax after work or school with. I also did expect more from the game's graphics on PS5 Pro, but I also wouldn't call the game's graphics bad. It just didn't quite live up to my expectations. While there have been other video games where you can control diggers, like Construction Simulator, Dig VR manages to be unique in that it's one of the only VR games to place you in a piece of construction equipment and let you have at it, while also maintaining a fun and approachable nature. So who is this game for? And should you buy it now, wait for a sale, or skip it entirely? Well, most people will enjoy their time with Dig VR. While it does have some monotony if you play it too much, your miles may vary based on how interesting you find controlling a digger in the quirky town of Diglington is. With that said, I can recommend that anyone who is interested in Dig VR after watching this review is safe to pick it up right now at full price. The game is fully polished, I didn't encounter any bugs whatsoever, and it offers a unique experience for a low price. Now, if you need me, I'll be digging up some poor woman's garden.